This book, I would say, is a mix of a few solid principles with a lot of metaphysical mumbo jumbo nonsense. And for me, that makes it a bad recommendation today. Okay, so I was wrongfully accused a few videos ago from not actually drinking out of a full coffee mug. Look, this is full of coffee, okay? And I'm drinking it. Thank you, Internet. You've been proven wrong. So, I actually read this book pretty seriously, and to be fair, I wanted to like it from the beginning. There's ideas in this book that I think actually really matter, especially if you're trying to be a businessman or trying to grow your business or something like that. But in my opinion, the core framework of the author is broken, and this book, I would say, is a mix of a few solid principles with a lot of metaphysical mumbo jumbo nonsense. And for me, that makes it a bad recommendation today. So today I'm doing something a little bit different than I'm usually doing on Saturdays. It's going to be just a book review or book critique, however you want to call it. I'm going to do a few of those in the year. I've been on a journey with personal interests through finances, economics, business, biographies, and that type of theme. And it's just stuff I like, to do as personal growth. And I chose Think and Grow Rich mostly because of internet gurus, because I kept seeing people recommending the book, and I was curious about how good it was. And like I said, to be fair, the book does some things well. It sets the importance for concrete goals, and it tells you how it matters and why it matters. It sets a direction to prevent drift when you have a business goal. It teaches about perseverance that is required for anything that's real, and the exchange, giving up something in order to have something. These are all principles, or also I forgot the fear that also a lot of people have in business, and that is present, and that needs to be fought off when you're trying to reach a goal. Because you don't want to be stuck in a place that's not bringing you forward, or that's not making you progress in your life. None of these things in themselves are controversial, but none of that requires what 80% of this book is about, which is some kind of metaphysical mysticism that really, engulfs the whole of the book. I believe the core problem with this book and its main thesis is that basically it claims to transmute, which is the word the author uses a lot, transmute your literal thought and emotional desires and your faith in these thoughts into literal money. So it's basically a twist on positive thinking. Listen, I know it's important to set goals and to think positively. Like, I'll give the author that much. It is important. But the actual transmuting of thoughts to me is like absolute nonsense. This is where it completely loses me. And to be fair, I think it loses contact with even earthly reality. Like, nothing in this book is grounded to science or just anything that's remotely real. Thoughts don't turn into cash. Hard work makes your plans turn into business opportunities and turn into possible cash. And also, to be noted, it also probably has the weirdest chapter in all of business book history at chapter 11. If you're curious, that's one of the chapters you can explore. It has this weird chapter about sexual energy. If you want to read a wild thought on sexual energy, vibrations, and how all of that is mystically linked to your success and your ability to transform your thoughts into money, maybe that's the book for you. But it's not the book for me, I've been married for 20 years, almost. I have 3 kids. I know how both money and sex work, believe it or not. So that's my genuine take on the book. Like I said, I'm not saying everything's bad, but I wouldn't recommend that book to someone starting out in business. I don't think it's particularly helpful. There's a lot of talk about vibrations, subconscious programming, brain broadcasting stuff and receiving stuff, none of which is grounded in science or anything else. It's just really this metaphysical talk that is always vague, never explained. You never really know where the author is pulling that stuff from. And one thing that did bother me a lot also, he never really explained where the ground of these concepts he's thinking about come from. He's just basically saying, here's how successful people do it and how they feel and how they act. But I'm sure if we were to be thorough, we'd find a lot of people that have this positive mindset that fail. I'm 100% sure we could find those. And it basically ignores all of these categories. It just basically makes you feel bad that you didn't succeed. If you didn't succeed, it's because you're not desiring money hard enough or success hard enough. But really, it doesn't explain anything about skills, about markets, about constraints, about risk, about time and effort and compounding, really all these things that make a business what it is and that actually truly builds something. To me, when I read a book like this, a lot of people might think it's deep. To me, it's not deep. It's just false mumbo jumbo. So you can read it if it makes you curious. I'm not stopping anyone from reading it, but to me, it was sort of a waste of time. I think a lot of other books do a better job at explaining similar concepts like perseverance, fear, and stuff like that. So right now I'm reading The Psychology of Money. It's already started as a beta read, so I'll keep you guys updated. It's probably going to be my next review, which is also considered another classic, which is why I'm going through these classics. One of the other issues I had with Think and Grow Rich is this, it comes back a few times in the chapters where he basically downplays the hard work and how important it is to be a successful person and, well, in his own word, to gather riches. The book, the author subtly, I don't know if it's conscious, but he even states at a few places where efforts and hard work are not going to, bring you where you want to go in business, and it's not going to give you money. It frames thinking as a substitute of hard work. So basically, if you think hard enough about it, if you desire it, if you have faith that you'll get it, and you put emotional vibrations into it, then it'll come true, and hard work just disappears mystically. I'm sorry, but history shows the opposite. It shows that people who work hard actually usually end up on top. Not always. That is not a golden rule in itself either. But just positively thinking and desiring and having faith that you'll succeed is not enough if you don't put any efforts into a project. I don't even know how the author could think of something like that. anything that requires trades, you'll have to go work with your hands. Manufacturing, you'll have to sit at a manufacturing line and build something. BJJ, you'll have to go out on the mats and train. Parenting, you'll have to keep an eye on your children and scold them when they're doing bad and praise them when they're doing good. And business, you'll have to pour sweat and tears into managing everything you need to manage. Like there's no sphere of life where work and hard work is not required, and dedication will not bring you something good. So I that's a part of the book I really did not like. You don't think your way to success and to riches. You don't think your way to a black belt. Well, you shouldn't. You work your way through these things, and to me, you know, if you're going to talk about like positive thinking and perseverance and building something, you know, desiring riches, I mean, the good angle would have been to promote like dedication and work and give strategies to attain that. But instead, I feel like the book is just like some big metaphysical, vague, you can do it if you want type of book. And unfortunately, it actually makes people feel bad if they don't succeed, because it's always their fault. You know, there's no externality. And to a certain degree, I will agree with that. But the problem to me is the way it perceives that. Like, it's because you didn't think hard enough. You didn't emotionally grab hard enough to that project. I mean, maybe you just didn't work enough. Maybe you're just lazy. I don't know. Like, those are some options. Anyway, I don't think just positively thinking about a project is necessarily the reason most people fail. I think this book can actually be harmful in the sense that some people will read a book like that and they'll chase like a certain mindset instead of chasing competence and confidence and doing the actual work. So they'll just start focusing on thinking they can do it, believing they can do it, and then they won't really put. I mean, to be fair, he does have like a whole chapter on making plans and stuff like that. But again, it's never very specific. It's always super vague, so it's not really helpful. Some people will read that book and they'll blame themselves instead of correcting their approach and working harder where they need to work harder and developing skills where they need skills, and, you know, etc. Like, instead of being specific and pointed, it's always vague. It creates like a fantasy-based, motivation-based business mindset, which I personally really don't like. I would akin it to like some kind of magical thinking. It doesn't help people build a real world business. It just, in my opinion, it just delays them. It just delays the business. It just delays the effort into thinking stuff will magically pop out and you'll meet powerful people that will help you. I don't know, like, it just seems foreign to me when I read this type of book. So here's my advice personally. You know, with the little experience that I have, I would say setting clear goals, having real work, getting real feedback from your customers, from your products, from your real world service or whatever you're doing, making adjustment and spending hard work and time doing these things are the formula that's going to make you succeed in business. Money tends to be a lagging indicator of success, not the actual reward that you should seek immediately. Meaning, money is going to come if you do those things properly, but sometimes it doesn't come right away. It's a lagging benefit. So relying on riches to be the factor that's, you know, deciding if you're successful or not is not the best idea. It will usually come further down the line. So there's no manifestations, in my opinion, no shortcuts to being successful and finding cash in your life. It's just doing those things that people are not willing to do. Why is everyone not rich? If it's as simple as transmuting your thoughts, the author would argue with me that it's because people don't do that. I would argue a lot of people in the world do that. A lot of people spend their whole life wishing, thinking about getting rich, thinking about ways to get rich. The problem is they don't do anything in practice. They don't do the hard work. Most people aren't willing to do the actual thing that's going to give them those riches. So I don't think the problem is the mindset here. It's just the behavior. Definitely the book focuses on perseverance and setting goals, and that's good. I agree with that. But like I said, I think there's better books out there. Alex Hormozzi's book is really good about all that type of thing, setting goals, working hard, adjusting. It's probably one of those books I'll review eventually, but there's better books out there that are more honest, less vague, less metaphysical, vibration type energy things. If you're like me, it just doesn't speak my language, honestly. If you liked it and you read it, then, good for you. There's coffees for everybody. I like my coffee with cream. I don't like metaphysical fluff. It just doesn't register in my brain. I don't think we need mysticism to explain discipline, perseverance, and desire as business people. I think it's rather harmful, actually, especially to new people who are starting in the business world and might see this as, I think, like some sort of a trap, like an easy way to get rich type of stuff. And that's the part that really bothers me, I think. If this book helped you, let me know. Let me know. Maybe I missed something that's important. Maybe you can give me some insight. Make sure you put it down below in the comments. I'd be happy, and I try to respond to everybody. But if you're building something real like we are with Stonebelt, this framework, I think, will eventually fail you. It's not because a lot of successful people have had these types of mindsets that it necessarily means it's the only thing that's needed to be successful in business. I think that's where everything goes wrong in that book. So I respect the work, but drop the fantasy, drop the metaphysical BS, honestly. So I know this has been a little different. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below in the comments if you did. And I'll keep doing once in a while. When I finish a book, I'll keep doing these book critiques or book reviews, however they're called. It's really fun. So I had a blast doing it. So I hope you guys enjoy and have a good weekend, everybody. Chill out.
Forged under pressure, worn with honor. Join the movement, subscribe, and follow Stonebelt.